Welcome. This is Cop Talk Uncuffed with your host, Jax and Ritz. Join us as we discuss current police issues and work on building solid community relationships. We will have news, interviews, answer questions, and more. You don't have to have a badge to listen. We're here for everyone. Now, here are your hosts.
I'm Ritz.
And I'm Jax.
And we are going to be doing a Q&A for this episode here. We asked on Facebook for people to ask some questions that we were going to go over and answer for you guys. We didn't get a lot, but we got some good ones, the ones that we did get. So we're going to go over some of those. Prior to this, we did a Facebook Live just to let the people know what we were going to do. So thanks for the people that tuned in. It was very brief. It wasn't very long. It was our first time doing it. We were actually going to do the entire episode live on Facebook, but we decided against it. We're just going to continue doing these for right now. We need a little better scenery, probably a studio of sorts as opposed to a kitchen. So, yeah, we're going to do that instead.
Faces for radio, not video.
Correct. So, I mean, there's some good questions here. You want to jump into the questions?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to tell everybody we appreciate, all the support and everything. Let's keep it going and let's jump into it.
All right. So, one of our first questions asked here was, how has social media affected being a police officer? I think dramatically. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I don't think it affects what we do, but I think it affects what is portrayed across social media and then on the, everybody has a cell phone now, so everybody records everything, which is fine, but they don't often share the whole video, or they don't catch what started. So that's one thing. And then, stuff can hit the airwaves so quick.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of the issues that are going on now is that everything spreads like wildfire, either for good or bad, But social media has its uses, but people need to relax a little bit and get the whole story before they come up with a judgment, in my opinion.
Correct. And I think obviously that you have to watch what you say on social media as a police officer as well, because people are chomping at the bit to get you caught up.
Everything is, going to be combed through by people that don't like you.
Yeah.
And you just got to, like you said, watch what you say, and for the most part, be politically correct.
You got to be unbiased as possible. Certain things I can't help, but as far as being a police officer goes, I think like political things sometimes I can't help it. Like I said, coronavirus, things of that nature, but that's not really from a police officer perspective. It's more from a personal standpoint. So, then he went on to ask, do you see things online that bother you? And absolutely. A lot of people that I grew up with, that I went to school with, long before I was a police officer, a lot of those people now endlessly speak about how much they hate cops and post every negative article possible about police officers.
Right.
And go on rants about how much they hate police officers and how all cops are bastards and everything. And it's just crazy because...
Is that ACAB that he posted
ACAB,
everywhere?
Yeah, he said it everywhere. And it's like, these people knew me before I was a police officer, and that was... And it's upsetting because we were friends, and now it's like, oh, now you hate me because I chose to do this career path. Those same people know who I am. They know that I do the job right. And, for them to categorize me with police officers in general that they don't like, yeah, it bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, to generalize everybody in a profession or a race or what have you is just wrong across the board. How often do you go to a drive-thru and get food and it's messed up?
Yeah, often.
So every time you go to a drive-through, you treat them like shit?
I do not know.
Right. You just don't do it. That's what we've been talking about since episode 1 is treat people with respect.
Yeah.
The golden rule when I was being raised, you treat everybody how you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere that's been lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easy for people to say stuff like that about us, though. We're a public figure. People always want us around when they need us. When they want us to do something, we're good guys. But when we are doing something that they don't like, give them a ticket or arresting them, then we're a bad guy.
And then obviously, do you see things online that bother you? And I answered that obviously just a little bit ago, but I guess to add to that, just because I have a different opinion with someone online about how a situation was handled, like a police incident, something of that nature, I don't delete people online. I don't block people online. I mean, people have
everybody has a right,
people have a different opinion than I do, and it doesn't mean that I hate you or dislike you. It's not personal. I think, and this is the point of the podcast too, is to have conversation and engage each other and try to learn something new or different every day. But it's sometimes when those same people online that post those things and you have a different opinion than them. I mean, it's only their opinion. That's it. You're wrong, and I don't delete people. I don't block people.
Right.
I try to open up a line of communication, and from my perspective, kind of say what I think. But that also goes back to the first question that was asked by the same individuals. How has social media affected being a police officer? You can't say certain things, so sometimes it's hard to really break an incident down and not also get in trouble on social media for saying too much.
Right.
So your answers are got to be pretty much vague sometimes. You kind of it's more just facts and that's it. You got to be objective. You can't really be you can't have opinions too much. It's got to be, you got to put facts out there. Sometimes they bother us, but we got thick skin. So
I think, like you said, everybody has an opinion about something. Social media and technology has made that to where your opinion gets blasted to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it also, technology and social media desensitizes people to have a conversation with other people.
Yes.
When you're texting somebody, you don't get to see, you send somebody a text, they get the text, and you don't get to see how that text affects them.
Correct.
You just get their response via text. So I think that's why people's opinions they fight so hard to get their opinion across because they don't see the other person that they're having a conversation with. They don't see how it affects them. You can't. That's my opinion.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
The second part of that was do they have an impact? Does it have an impact on the job? Do things that we see online bother us? Do they have an impact on the job? I made a post about this not too long ago. Come do a ride along.
Yeah.
Come do a ride along. It's free. Maybe it'll change your mind. I'm not really bothered by people's opinions. I still go out and do the job the way it's supposed to be done, but I think some people could be persuaded differently if they come out and maybe take a ride along, see what really happens day to day, see what really goes on, see what kind of calls we go to, see the kind of people we deal with and interact with. Come do a ride along.
Yeah.
I'll take people out. I take people out, as an FTO. Sometimes I don't even want to do that, but I do it anyway because of people I work with. So, I'll be more than happy to take someone out that, often criticizes the job, maybe a different perspective on things. So, yeah.
People don't understand the job. They think they understand the job. They've never done the job. they see something on a social media video or on a news, and they have their opinion about it, but they don't know the actual law. They don't know policies and procedures. They don't know what a cop can do in a situation, what they can't do. And they're stuck with that opinion, and they don't want to hear anybody else's valid argument.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, come see what we do. You'll see for yourself. Where was it? Was it in St. Louis a few years ago when they had the riots down there, and they had protesters that actually went and went to a firearm simulator?
Yeah.
And they actually seen.
I don't know where it was, but that happened.
How hard it was to make a decision.
Yeah.
And I think it changed their mind.
Yeah, that was a great idea. I wish they would do it more often. You would see people that think they know what they're doing, not know what they're doing very quickly when a situation happens in the matter of a second.
Right.
But, I mean, regardless, I mean, you know.
Getting back to how it affects us, though, speaking for me personally, I think, you know, something that you see something negative on social media or, you know, on the news, I think it gets filed away for me. You know, like it does get me down, and it gets filed away somewhere deep down. But I know, like, the people that I serve and protect, not all the people that I in the community are like that. They don't share those views.
Yeah.
You know, I get more thank yous from people than, you know, people that yell at me. I even get thank yous from people I arrest. So
Yeah. You're doing something right.
yeah.
Let's see, the last part of that question. This is a good series of questions by this individual here. He asks, I think we all know cops might have the most criticized job in the country, but does seeing that criticism every day on a news feed have an impact, whether positive or negative? Absolutely both. I think to the negative aspect of that, you know, you don't want to be the guy that you don't want to be the reason that there's riots wherever you work.
No.
You don't want to be that guy. So sometimes, man, it's in your head that whatever situation you're getting into, this could escalate, and all of a sudden now you're the reason that your city's having riots and protests. So yeah, it has a negative impact a little bit.
You don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy. And you could be that guy very easily just by doing your job the right way.
Yeah.
It just happens that way sometimes. So yeah,
I think a good bit of advice that I've been told numerous times over my career, especially when I first started, was always act like somebody's watching, somebody's videoing you. You know.
Yeah, that's the best way to go about it.
Obviously, there was people watching Derek Chauvin, and they were filming him, and you know, he did what he did.
Yeah.
But you got to treat people with respect. The problem I have with social media, though, and cell phones, is that everybody's quick to pull it out and start recording instead of actually helping. You know, if you see an officer struggling with a, I don't want people to get involved on necessarily anything, but if you think there's something going on that's bad, why don't you try to step in and defuse the situation?
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting there getting a YouTube video.
World star.
Yeah, world star.
World star. So yeah, I mean,
those are all excellent questions, by the way.
Same guy, man. He gave us a bunch of questions.
Good.
That's pretty good.
We appreciate it.
Actually, we're gonna go out. It's Mike Brook.
All right.
He's already on the Facebook
Mike
page.
B, we appreciate
Mike B,
it.
with all these questions. Thanks, man. Thanks for taking the time to ask those. Those are all pretty good. Let's move on here. Let's got another.
I don't know if he knows, but we used to live close by.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he knows that, but.
I think I knew that.
Oh yeah.
I
used to live in the neighborhood, man.
You did.
We had.
And you moved out.
Well, hey, things happen, you know. We had to. Well, they broke up, but we had the rap group. Now I'm trying to. I don't even know if I should mention it, but why not, right? Crooked. I lived right in the thick of it, man. Crooked.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't. I know what you're talking about at all.
I listened to a couple of their songs. They sounded pretty good.
All right. I'll have to give it a listen sometime.
I'm more into the old school rap though, but.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's get another question here. Ricky Morrison.
Ricky, just seen him.
Did you?
Just seen him yesterday.
Okay. Shout out to Ricky Morrison. He asks, with everything going on in the country these days, what advice would you give someone who's thinking about going to the academy or someone currently in the academy getting ready to graduate? That's a good one. I get asked that question a lot.
Can I take first dibs on this?
Go ahead.
I was told 20 years ago, actually even a little bit prior to that, maybe when I was actually thinking about becoming a cop, I was told by everybody, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Do something else, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, my response was, oh, come on. You know, it's what I've always wanted to do. I want to do this. You guys are just, exaggerating. You got to do what you love. And if you love to do this, you can get through. But now, 20 years later, whatever reasons those guys had for telling me not to do it, 20 years later, those reasons have amplified, I think. And we talked about it, I believe, in the last episode, or I think it was with Legally Blonde, that, no pay, no training, no respect. I'm sure you could go find another job, but you're not going to deter the people that want to do this job. So if you actually want to do it for the right reasons, do it the right way. That's my advice. Ask somebody that's been in it a while what exactly you're getting into before you make that decision.
That's well said. I couldn't agree any more with that. I completely agree with everything you stated. I was also told, even 10 years ago now, do something else. What do you think?
Yeah.
You can make
that was the
better
consensus
money.
Of everybody.
Yeah, but like you said, it's amplified now, obviously, and I guess someone getting ready to graduate has already made that decision because they're already through the academy. They're getting ready to graduate. At that point, you're already getting ready to get in the field. So, I guess my advice to them would be, when you do get out there, don't get caught up in the politics and the games.
Right.
Once you're in it, because it's going to be there. You're going to have politics. You're going to have games. Don't get caught up in that, because you've already committed to being a cop at that point. So now you're going to go out there. You're going to get hired at an agency, and hopefully it's a good one. But I think you could agree with this. There's no such thing as a perfect police department anywhere.
No.
Every department has its pros and cons, but they all have politics. Don't get caught up in the politics and the game. Just go out there and you're going to have a field training officer. You might not like them. You might like them. Whatever the case is, follow your moral compass and learn the job, but also make smart decisions and always do the right thing.
Yeah. Don't fall into the trap.
Yeah.
How about you have a college degree, correct?
Correct. Yep.
What did you major in?
Criminal justice.
Okay.
Which I regret.
I
Should
was
be
going to
something
ask
else,
you.
but
I didn't graduate with a 4-year degree. I went for 3 years, and
okay.
I dropped out. But I went for criminal justice. I agree. If you're going to go to college, go for something else. Major in something else. Business, accounting, whatever.
Yeah. I said last episode that I originally went for teaching.
Yes.
I went to the academy, and then I was undetermined on a major. I originally went with teaching, and then I switched over to criminal justice. It really makes no difference whatsoever in this field. I mean, you get some bonus points on a test. You get maybe a little additional pay, but it's nothing significant. If you want to take that degree and move on, maybe to become an attorney down the road, kind of helps with some of your prerequisites and classes like that to get you familiar with stuff. But yeah, my advice would be, don't ever get a criminal justice degree. Do something else entirely.
Yeah, if you want to go federal, they're not looking for criminal justice degrees. They're looking
you don't
for
need that.
They're looking for other stuff.
Yeah,
languages.
Yeah, language is huge. Yeah.
When I was in college, I was going to the academy at the same time, and I was learning the same stuff. And I figured, I'm going to stop going to college. I could always go back after I get hired somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just never did. And a lot of places don't require to have a college education. Some places do. You get paid more money for it. You get reimbursed with your department?
I get a little extra pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing significant.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm in, like everyone else, I got student loan debt for my degree, and the money we make, I ain't paying that off anytime soon. There's a student loan forgiveness program. There's things out there to help, but
Right.
I kind of lucked out. We all did with the COVID for a little bit because it kind of delayed our payments for a couple months, so that was cool. But it's just do something else. Get something else. Do a different degree.
I was always told to be a fireman.
Yeah.
That's what my advice was.
Looking back at it and the schedule that they have, I'd be tempting.
Was it 24 on, 48 off?
Yeah. Imagine that, man.
Hey.
More
ain't that
days
bad.
off. Yeah.
Maybe we should get that at the PD. We'll just work a 24 and then.
I've already thought of that and suggested it. I'd be all for that.
Yeah.
Let me get 24 straight.
Have some bunk beds at the station.
Oh man, could you imagine the criticism of that? Boy, people hated us. No, they really hate us then.
Oh, absolutely.
All those damn cops are sleeping.
Yep. We'll just have like some zip up overalls.
It's crazy
like a flight
because
suit.
some people would probably prefer us just to sleep and not even go on the road and interact with anybody.
Yeah.
So maybe that would appease them. We'll just sleep. We won't bother anybody.
That's it. You just sleep. That's
There'll
it.
be no interactions.
The alarm goes off when we get a call, and you gotta get in the car and go.
We'll go and we'll come back. Go back to bed.
That's it.
Everyone can
Wash
be
the
happy.
car. We wash the car when we come back in.
Yeah. There's no interaction then. They don't have to worry about cops engaging anybody because we'll be so tired. We'll just be sleeping.
Yeah.
So hey, police reform. Look at that. Give us 24-hour shifts.
So I actually had a conversation with the elderly gentleman today, and he said, "Well, I don't understand. I don't know how you guys do what you do, especially with everything going on, And these people are talking about defunding the police, and he says you guys should just take some time off. You guys should just all quit for a month, and see how it likes." And I said, "Yeah, that's kind of a good idea, but it's not going to help anybody that actually needs us."
Yeah.
It sounds good to say it, but you're hurting the wrong people by doing
Correct.
that. So we'll just keep doing what we got to do until they actually get rid of us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said before, we discussed that, and I feel like that would be just a complete purge scenario. But yeah, it would hurt the wrong people. So while I understand the logic behind it, it wouldn't work out for anybody. I'm pulling up an article right now. I just saw this. I'm trying to find where it was. Did you hear about an agency in Florida that they've officially hired social workers, and because of that, they cannot hire an additional 25 extra police officers. They're actually rolling with the social workers now responding to calls. Here it is. Just found it. This is going to be a Florida Police Department will send social workers instead of cops nonviolent 911 calls under reform plan. This was July 10th.
I did not hear about this.
Okay. It's going to be the St. Petersburg Police Department. They're going to hire up to 20 social workers for its new community assistance liaison team. I can't speak. It's going to start October 1st. Instead of sending a police officer, a member of the new division will respond to calls involving mental health and intoxication. They're going to be called the CAL team.
Oh yeah, they got their own acronym.
CAL division will be funded from federal grant originally earmarked for the hiring of 25 additional police officers over the next 2 years. So, 25 additional police officers will now lose their jobs for this new.
Oh wow.
This new social worker squad that's being hired.
I dig it, and they're kind of tactical because they got their own acronym, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. The agency has a broader reform plan in the works, which includes additional training and de-escalation of non-lethal self-defense tactics for officers.
So what you're talking about there is that actually less cops, more social workers responding to calls.
Correct.
Which leads to another article that I've seen. Comes out of an incident that happened in Detroit. There's people protesting right now in Detroit for the killing of somebody they claim was unarmed, but actually shot at the police in the video before he was killed. And I seen a interview. One of the marchers was interviewed and said that the police should have de-escalated. They could have de-escalated the situation by having social workers respond initially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if you send a social worker to arrest this guy, which I don't know why they were actually after him, maybe he had a warrant. Let me see here. I think he had a warrant. I could be mistaken now.
Okay.
We might have to make an edit later. But officers went and pulled a gun and started firing. The officers returned fire, killed him. This lady that's marching against the police says social workers should have went there to apprehend him.
Of course.
And there wouldn't have been any wrongdoing by this guy. So I'm guessing like this guy doesn't want to go to jail.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be arrested. So let's have unarmed people go arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
He's willing to shoot at armed police officers.
Correct.
What do you think he's going to do to unarmed civilians?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense. But I found that, and I couldn't believe that actually, because we've heard all along that they said that's not going to happen. That's just going to be. It was never supposed to happen this way. Now 25 additional police officers, they're not going to be able to.
That's hey, where did it happen? St. Petersburg.
Yeah, St. Petersburg, Florida.
All right, St. Pete people. This is what's going on down in your
the Cal Division.
Your neighborhood.
October 1st, everything changes down there. So, but yeah, they're going to hire 20 social workers to respond to calls. So,
all right. I hope they could talk people down.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, it's going to be hard to talk down someone with a firearm shooting at you.
Sometimes words hurt more, I guess.
Yeah. And, and the time it takes for them to respond and be sent to that call.
Are they going to, for emergency situations, are they going to be equipped with lights and sirens? Are they,
It's unknown. It's not stated on here. But like I said before, how many times does a call come in that is completely different than what it turns out to be? So,
I think in the last episode with Chris, we said that we were for having social workers help us out on calls,
assist us.
Yeah,
yes.
not going,
not replacing us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the CAL team, Community Assistance Liaison Team, that's what they are, the Cal Division. So
tack vest and the cargo pants.
And again, now we go back, as I'm reading this line, they will be sent to mental health and intoxication. So,
oh, okay.
Remember the one we just went over in Atlanta for an intoxicated male that resulted in that?
Yeah.
Wow. So, what happens then?
This is solely their call, though. They are the social workers are the ones going and handling these calls.
That's it.
Okay. What happens when it gets violent? Who do they call then?
I don't know. They're going to have to call the police.
I doubt this is something that the planners are actually thinking about right now.
Obviously not.
When the social workers need help, who are they calling?
You're right.
Because they can't call the police because we're not going to be there, right?
Yeah. No, they're strictly taking these calls. That's how I'm reading it. So, a member of the new division will respond to calls for mental health and intoxication. They're getting funded from a federal grant. So, the grant was originally for 25 additional police officers, but they're going to use this to hire the Cal Division.
Yeah, sure. All right, so the Cal team, they sent a Cal officer.
Yes.
to the call.
Yep.
We have an intoxicated guy. He's sitting out in front of Shell gas station, and he won't leave. So they send a social worker there, member of the CAL team. The CAL officer tries to talk this guy into moving along down the street or getting him into a rescue mission or whatever. The guy says, "Oh, I'm not going nowhere," and he starts fighting with the CAL officer.
Yeah.
He calls for backup. Do we send in the CAL reinforcements? They come in.
The CAL commander. Maybe.
They come in a van. TAC van.
I mean, maybe. I mean, that might be a thing. That could turn out to be a thing. I don't know. Instead of an army tank that everyone's just incredibly afraid of and it's so intimidating, maybe they'll send like a school bus with the CAL team.
All right.
It's more of like a kind of a welcoming thing.
Okay.
Happiness. It's like a happy bus. Everyone's kind of happy.
First officer on scene comes in a station wagon. No, they come in like a grocery getter.
Maybe, but it has to not be intimidating or offensive.
Right. So maybe it's like a Volvo station wagon type
possibly.
thing.
Maybe a bicycle.
Now we're helping the environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being eco-friendly.
Okay.
So, you have to remember that the bicycle will take a while to get there. So.
Response times are obviously going to be higher.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Because they don't really theoretically need anything other than that because they can't physically arrest people anyway. So there's no need to put them anywhere.
That's true.
They're going to have to call one of those police officers for a transport.
Can't they call an Uber?
I don't know if that's.
I like where this is going.
On the CAL policy list.
Well, they can call the transport. If the person's willingly to go, they can call the transport, which is like a Partridge Family bus.
Okay, I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
I can see it. Peace signs everywhere.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like we're back in the 60s.
I'm like, back, two man social worker CAL unit. They come on tandem bicycles.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
A double unit. A double CAL, but yeah.
How else are you gonna field training? How else are you gonna do field training?
Yeah, it's your FTO CAL.
Tandem bicycles.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just read that and I couldn't believe it. Had to bring it up because it's crazy that you don't know what call you're getting into until you get there. An intoxicated male doesn't just mean you're gonna come there and you're gonna tell this guy, hey, you need to stop drinking and we're gonna fix your life up. Sometimes This guy is going to say, because he's intoxicated, fuck you, you're not gonna tell me what to do, and he's gonna start attacking you, because that's what happens sometimes.
And by then it's too late.
Yeah. And not only that, but let's throw this out there. You send someone, you send a CAL to, we're going to say mental health, because this is one of the things they list in the mental health call. You send a CAL member to a mental health call, right? And they get on scene, and they're trying to talk to this guy who's just off his meds, or he's just completely hallucinating. He's gone. And he pulls a gun out and starts shooting his family. At that point, what sort of intervention is a CAL member going to do other than call the police, who should have been there from the beginning? They could have stopped this guy from killing other people, but now it's irrelevant because the damage is already done. So now you've basically just sent someone in that was useless to the situation, essentially, because you didn't know what you were really getting into.
How about now you have a hostage?
Yeah, hostage situation.
Yeah, you just send a hostage into
Yeah.
How many hostages?
Correct.
Yeah.
Or they take the CAL becomes the hostage.
God forbid the CAL officer is murdered by this schizo.
So, how long does this last before they realize that it was a massive fail?
Well, who goes if the first one is deemed, is incapacitated?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's going to take one situation for this to all be defunded and thrown away.
Yeah. It has catastrophe written all over.
Someone's going to die. God forbid it's anyone in general, but someone's going to die, and they're going to say, "Wow, this was a horrible idea. We sent someone into situations with really no training for the job, with no firearm or anything of that nature whatsoever, no means to defend themselves, and people died as a result.
Right.
Who's going to want to reflect that in their department across the country? But hey, that's a good idea. That was a really good idea. We're going to go ahead and implement Cal. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
This thing's going to be over before it even started. And unfortunately, someone's going to have to get severely hurt or killed for someone to understand that, hey, this was a bad idea, because that's what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll see what happens. Sounds like they got their plans, thought out really well. See if that goes nationwide. Could be just a testing ground there in St. Pete.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a good test.
No, I mean, social workers have their place in all of this, and to be completely serious, I wouldn't. I've gone to numerous calls with mental illness related, and it's always nice having somebody to talk to.
Correct.
Or to ask for advice on a situation when there's time to do that, and then if there is time to do that, is there somebody actually going to pick up the phone and respond when you need them?
Yeah.
Oftentimes, no, there's nobody to call. We are it. We are your first and last line of defense, or we're your first call and your only call that you're going to get for help, unless that the person goes to the hospital.
Correct. And so I've done a little more reading here.
Okay.
And
we have an update.
Here's the update. Okay, so the Cal Division will be funded from a $3.12 million federal grant. And here's where it gets interesting. The Cal team will include 18 to 20 professionals working from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. They'll be in plain clothes and they will be unarmed.
Oh,
so
wow.
from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m., they will be in plain clothes and they will be unarmed.
Okay.
So I guess for that little 4-hour window, there won't be any available. So God forbid any of these.
Between 2 and 6 a.m.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So something happens at 2:15 or 3, there's no Cal officer there for you.
Everybody that's suffering from mental illness must be in bed at those times.
So these are the calls that they will be responding to. There's a complete list of them right here.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole list of them. These are the ones that a police officer will no longer be responding to. And this was it St. Petersburg? I said it was. Yep, St. Petersburg Police. From now on, if any of these situations arise, these are the officers that will be responding. Or these are the situations they'll be responding to. Ready for this? We got disorderly intoxication.
Oh, okay.
Intoxicated person. Here's a good one for you. Mental health crisis.
Okay.
Suicide crisis. All right.
Oh, okay.
A mental health transport. Disorderly juvenile or truancy. Disorderly juvenile at elementary schools. Drug overdose, homeless complaints, panhandling, and here's the best one. This is the most generalized one. Neighborhood dispute. Which could mean literally anything whatsoever.
Do you know how much time we would have in our 8-hour shift if we don't have to respond to neighbor disputes?
My goodness.
This idea is getting better and better.
Yeah. So.
And they're going to drug overdoses.
Correct.
Wow.
So, not sure what they do with any evidence that they come across then, because when they
you don't need it. I mean, just decriminalize everything. Decriminalize drugs. You won't have any evidence.
That's basically what it's coming to.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's how it's going to be now. So, October 1st, St. Petersburg. This is the response you'll be having from the Cal team, and these are the calls that they'll be going to.
And they're doing transports.
Correct. Mental health transport. That's what it says. I'm not sure what the exact terminology,
20
meaning of that would be, but it's
20-person team.
Yep.
Costing $3.1 million.
Yep.
All right.
It's a federal grant, which was actually originally allotted to an additional 25 police officers who will no longer be able to be hired because the Cal team has replaced them.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to see what happens.
Same.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I don't know yet.
I did have a question that came through on YouTube. I don't know if it's a legitimate question or if it's just somebody trying to troll us. But
probably troll us.
But so we'll give it a go. GW, this is for you. He wants to know the history of the thin blue line, and if it is still if it's still practiced today.
Okay.
I guess. Do we still believe in the thin blue line? The history that I can find for you is that around 1922, the year 1922, that verbiage caught on after a New York police commissioner named Richard Enright used that in a speech. After that time, numerous politicians and press coverage used the thin blue line verbiage. In the 1950s, the thin blue line was an actual TV show about the LA Police Department, Los Angeles Police Department. And it was actually their chief at the time, William H. Parker, had a lot to do with that TV show.
Okay.
He used their close proximity to Hollywood to use it as a way for recruitment efforts, I guess, or community policing back then. He also had the show Dragnet. Do you remember Dragnet? Before your time?
Before me, but I've heard about it.
So he also had something to do with the Dragnet show. It does get a bad turn though that Chief Parker was known for unambiguous racism.
Oh, geez.
It says here.
Okay.
So not a good guy. From what it says here, but that's kind of the history of where the thin blue line came from. It actually started even before that as the thin red line. It goes back to 1854. It was a British battle formation in the Crimean War. Yeah,
okay.
So that's how that all started. But it wasn't until the 1920s when the thin blue line. And he wants to know if it still exists today.
Okay.
And I know you had a take on that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with a no.
I can concur with that.
Yeah. Just don't think it's a thing anymore. I think people think it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. The thin blue line, like we said earlier, there's no department that's perfect, but there is. The blue line is I don't want to be negative, man, but I think it's more of a myth now than it was before. Just don't think it's...
Yeah, there's nobody that's going to stick up for you if you're out there doing bad stuff, you know.
No,
and
especially
I think that's what people
now.
think of the thin blue line. I think that's what people. It's like some kind of code, some brotherhood code.
Yeah.
That we don't. If we see something bad, we don't say anything about it. I don't think there's anybody. Obviously, there's the exceptions when we talked about them, the bad cops or whatever. You know, if they find a couple guys that are in the same boat as them.
Yeah.
They have their own code. I find out that in 20 years doing this, that some officers don't exactly want what you have. If you have a special detail that you're on, or a certain shift, whatever it may be, they don't necessarily want what you have. They just don't want you to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So they come up with all kinds of things to bitch about or make your life rough. I've seen that. I've been through it. So this, like you said, myth of some thin blue line, I don't think that it's there.
No, I think that a lot of people think the thin blue line. There's a pride thing. Like, yeah, I'm a police officer, thin blue line, but that's not what it is. Devolved over the years. It's
on one hand, though, I can see, the majority of times, no, there's no thin blue line. But on the other hand, I will come to anybody's defense that deserves their defense. And I don't want to say it's just because we're all wear the same uniform. It's just a matter of right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's being raked through the coals, I'll be there to support them if they weren't in the wrong.
Correct.
When you are, I don't want anywhere. I don't want it anywhere around you.
Same.
But so that's our take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We had no other questions really besides that.
No other questions. I think we're going to try to get something later in the week.
Yeah, we'll have another
You still
guest
have a few
coming
days,
on,
right?
Yeah, we'll have another guest come on here. It's going to be a really good one. We're just going to we'll do these in between. Eventually, we will do a live Facebook.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think once we get something maybe a little bit more roomier, or
Yeah, we're trying to get content out every single
dim
week.
the lights down a little bit.
Yeah, set the mood.
Yeah.
Maybe get some candles.
Candles, yeah.
Candles.
Yeah.
A little R&B.
Some background music, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some Luther?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I appreciate these questions that people are sending in, and you know, we love seeing everybody like the material. I think it's been a majority, if not, I think we've only had one dislike on our stuff. So
Okay. Well, that's a pretty good percentage then.
there was one person on YouTube that asked us to try to fix some of the audio from the intros and outros in our audio. I think I did that. If you're still noticing an issue with it, let us know again, and we'll keep on it. Maybe we'll have to bring a show engineer, on to help us out with some technical stuff.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're doing a pretty good job, though.
Hey, we try, right?
Yeah, Jax has pretty much done all the editing and everything here. He's become an internet wizard.
No pay, though. No pay for a show engineer, though.
No.
But if you're interested and you just want to do it because you like to do it and you like us and you like the premise, come on in.
Yeah, we'll help you out. Unless we get a sponsorship, but
Yeah.
we're still waiting on that.
We'll just give them some of those get out of jail free cards that everybody talks about.
everyone says we have those. So
Yeah.
I never seen one yet. But
Yeah.
apparently we have them, so we'll give you one that we allegedly have.
All right. So until next time.
Yeah, that's all we got now. That's all the questions we had. Thanks for listening, tuning in.
All right. See you next time, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for riding with Cop Talk Uncuffed. If you like the show, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Also subscribe and like our videos on YouTube. Let's partner up again next time. For now, we're out of service.